Hello, friends. So I know it's been a while, and I apologize for the blue tongue. Just putting it out there and we can move on. But I want to jump on here to talk a little bit about the idea, again, of waiting to be happy, or the idea that once your health is under control, once the world calms down a little bit, once things feel a little bit more manageable, then you can start living your life. And I want to just ruffle the feathers a little bit and bring back the idea that maybe you don't have to wait to be happy. And maybe part of that resilience training and that adaptability is learning to be completely with whatever life gives you and really teaching the brain to see it as an opportunity and a gift to really step into the wonder and curiosity when suddenly what felt unbearable and stressful and what feels like it's shaking your ground of reality is now an opportunity to really expand yourself and get more comfortable with this act of being human, whatever that looks like. So I was looking over my favorite Marcus Aurelius quotes, and one stood out to me today. And he reminds us that your days are numbered. Use them to throw open the windows of your soul to the sun. If you do not, the sun will soon set, and you with it. And I know that might sound a little dark, but I think it's actually quite sunny. And again, the idea is really reminding yourself that your life is right now, and every moment has something beautiful to extract from it, even if your brain might be primed for danger and primed for stress. And I know, especially in the world of chronic illness, of trauma, of gut dysfunction, when you're literally getting signals from the gut of danger and your brain is picking up this kind of constant stress, it is so hard to engage with life in a way that feels optimistic and hopeful and playful. You know, we really start to see the world as a reflection of who we are, and it's hard to separate what's actually beautiful and enjoyable when we feel so sick, when we feel so anxious, when we're constantly battling symptoms and, trying to just stay afloat in life. So I get it. And I want to bring attention to the fact that when the body is trying so hard to fight these stressors, you're kind of in that catch-22 where it takes energy to make energy. And if you're so fatigued from chronic illness, from anxiety, you're burning through your magnesium. You're in that loop of stress-based physiology that's kind of using up your nutrients to the point where your body can't really heal. That's when we see the gut lining start to open. That's when we see reproductive abilities shut down. We see hair falling out. We see the colon starting to slow down and things like SIBO and infections and parasites crop up. You probably know what I'm talking about if you're watching this video. So part of getting out of that stress-based cycle when we feel like we're trying everything and we're sort of stuck is less about the next treatment protocol and so much more about shifting into a state where we can limit maybe the biggest stressor, which is coming from our thoughts and our perception that there's something wrong, there's something to fix. And Pema Chodron, another one of my favorite people, talks about the idea that nothing ever goes away until it has taught us what we need to know. And shifting our view of illness as this wonderful, very straight to the point teacher, again, opens up that reminder that when your body is sick, when you have these anxiety loops, when you've been through significant trauma in the past and it's impacting the way you perceive the world now, when we start to see that as an opportunity to really change the way we are moving forward and to really live our lives with a sense of presence and intention now, that's when that fight softens and our stress physiology again calms down because the body isn't in that kind of pokey state. It's in this more restful, go with the flow state. Again, not ideal to be sick. We probably wouldn't have chosen this, but if we start to act as if we had chosen this, the body listens to that. It's all of a sudden waking up feeling pretty crummy and fatigued and foggy. If we had chosen that, maybe then we have an opportunity to stay in our pajamas and take it as a creative day to catch up with loved ones, to make a cup of tea, to dive into more replenishing activities. See what I'm getting at? So Christina Shumalova, shout out to her, was a hugely helpful and is a hugely helpful person in my life in terms of getting out of that catch-22 of stress where I literally could not enjoy my life or heal because I was continually waiting for it to get better, continually waiting to feel better so that I could start doing the things that I enjoyed. Because again, I was at the place where I was so sick that even the basic acts of living were so depleting that even standing up to get out of bed to make myself a cup of tea was so energy consuming that could send me down a spiral of hopelessness and despair and doom. And, I couldn't even imagine a future because I was so stuck in this small world. But she taught me this wonderful technique which fits so much into brain rewiring, called tapping, that has literally changed my life. And I'll walk you through a kind of sample session today just so you have an idea of one of the tools I use in my practice and also one of the biggest tools that I'll be using in the group rewiring program this winter. So just to see if it resonates. So the focus today is going to be on shifting our relationship with fatigue and kind of teaching the body that it's a safe place to be so that we don't have to waste our precious minerals and ramp up those stress hormones when we're feeling tired and run down. We want to signal safety to the body in that state so that it feels safe to heal. Because again, fatigue is just the body's way of saying, wow, there is a significant amount of stress in the body. There's maybe infections, maybe we've been burning the candle, maybe we've been overtraining, maybe we've been undereating, maybe we've been thinking things that have been causing ourselves to feel depleted. If we can shift that, then we open up space to heal, and then we have energy to use to start thinking in ways that are conducive to health. So you can follow along and do this in the safety of your own home, in the comfort of your own home, and see what kind of shifts you notice. And again, really curious how it lands with you, and just another one of those tools. So repeat after me. All of these ideas about what it means to be healthy, all of these ideas about waiting to be happy, wondering what would happen if I were suddenly cured, wondering how I'd feel if I felt better, then maybe I could enjoy my life. And even with all of these ideas and the fear of thinking that I'll never get better, that I'm stuck like this, that my body is broken, even with all of these ideas, I'm learning to enjoy my life right now. And then the top of the head. And all of these ideas about what it means to be me, about what it means to be sick, about what it means to have food reactions, to always feel bloated, to always feel tired, to notice my hair falling out, not being able to sleep, and feeling like I won't have the energy to do what needs to get done. All of these ideas, I can see them for what they are. It's just my brain. It's just my stressed out brain. But when I soften When I relax my belly, when I breathe a little bit more deeply, when I look around the room and see the peacefulness around me, I notice my physiology starts to shift. I feel a warming sensation in my body. I notice that just by breathing, my body feels a little bit better. My thoughts slow down. And I'm surprised to notice that I feel a little bit more excited. I feel a little bit more hopeful. And I can look at my illness, my symptoms, my blue tongue, and smile just a little bit. Because this human life is bizarre. Things unfold in ways I never expected. And there's beauty in that. Because I'm starting to realize that this life is freaking short. And I can spend my time worrying and wondering when it will be easier. Or I can throw a dance party in my mind, in my pajamas. I can shake my bloated belly around, and I can start to focus on everything that's already beautiful. Because if I think about it, that wiser part of me has no problem being sick. That wiser part of me has no issue with this. And when I release the idea that I have to force my body to heal, and open up to the idea that the body heals on its own time, that when I learn what I need to learn, that when I soften into what this experience is, that's when creativity comes in. That's when my energy starts to flow. When the stress hormones slowly dim. When my body starts to repair itself. And when I start to see the goodness that's been here all along. Because yes, I'm realizing this life is short. And it's my duty to soften, to heal myself, to take care of myself in the gentlest ways so that I can show up for this world that needs a little more light, that needs a little bit more magic, a little more goofiness, as I follow the simple path to breathe a little more deeply and to trust my life, trust my body, and trust in the power of the brain when it feels like I've tried everything. To trust my brain to signal safety so that one cell at a time I can heal, I can find joy, I can see the magic around me, I can feel that spontaneous joy, and I can start living my life right now. And then you'll squeeze your wrist and take a deep breath in. And even more. And slowly breathe out. So if that felt a little bit weird, that's great. Again, we're trying to sort of challenge the brain to think a little bit differently, because the traumatized, or even a brain that's been sick for a while, will be primed for danger, primed for stress. It gets stuck in these pathways. But when we can teach it to shift out and start to get comfortable with those physiological changes towards safety and relaxation, that's where I notice the true healing of the body, and especially the gut, starts to happen. So if this kind of work interests you, feel free to head to my website and check out the page about the group program. Feel free to apply, and it's just a 6-week program where like-minded people that potentially feel like they've tried everything and are not getting results. Maybe they feel like they're hitting a wall, they're sort of stuck in this loop, and they're at the point where they're realizing that so much of this is still driven by these stress cycles, these thoughts that we're stuck in. If that's the case for you, this could be a great opportunity to start building a community with people that are also ready to make those changes. And yeah, feel free to reach out with any questions. I'm here anytime and always curious to hear how that experience was. And I'll leave it at that for today. Goodbye with my blue tongue.